Marcus Ellis, a young black law intern, walked into the courtroom carrying nothing but his ambition and a lifetime of proving himself. Today, he faced a lawyer who sneered at him, dismissing him with a cold laugh, calling him unqualified. Thinking Marcus was nothing, the courtroom held its breath, but Marcus stayed calm, because he knew something the lawyer didn't. The judge presiding over the case was his uncle. With every argument, Marcus dismantled the case with precision and poise, turning skepticism into shock. The lawyer's smirk faded, as the judge's gaze cut to the arrogance in the room. Objection sustained. The judge said, voice firm, and the courtroom went silent. The powerful man who thought he owned the room realized he had underestimated the quiet, he overlooked the patient. Marcus walked out victorious, a reminder that true strength is often invisible until the world is forced to see it. Justice had been served, and a lesson learned: never mistake respect for weakness. After the courtroom, Marcus didn't celebrate. He knew the real battle was the whispers, the doors that still wouldn't open, the subtle doubts that lingered. The lawyer, humiliated but unwilling to admit defeat, tried to spread rumors, to paint Marcus as a lucky nepotism case. But every attempt backfired. Colleagues who had ignored him now listened. Judges who had overlooked him now took note. Marcus's work, quiet and relentless, became undeniable. And then came the promotion, something the arrogant lawyer had scoffed at months ago. Marcus stepped into the office not as the unqualified intern, but as a rising attorney, eyes calm, smile measured. The lesson echoed louder than any courtroom drama. Those who belittle others often fall first, and patience combined with skill is a weapon stronger than arrogance. The underdog had not just survived, he had rewritten the rules of the game. Weeks passed, and the lawyer's smirk turned into quiet panic. Every case Marcus touched seemed to flourish. Every brief he wrote exposed flaws the lawyer had missed. At firm meetings, the whispers shifted. Marcus's name replaced the lawyer's in hushed praises. One afternoon, the lawyer confronted him, bitterness lacing every word. "You think you're better than me?" he spat, but Marcus only smiled calm, steady. Later that day, the firm announced a major case assignment, the one the lawyer had coveted for months, and Marcus's name was on top. The courtroom that once seemed impossible now awaited him. And this time, the lawyer had no protection, no leverage, no excuses. Marcus's rise was unstoppable, and the underdog who had once been dismissed as unqualified now held the power to shape outcomes. Justice had not only been served, it had come with poetic irony, and the world began to notice that strength and patience always demand their day. The day of the big case arrived, and the lawyer stood in court, pride bruised, arrogance exposed, while Marcus walked in with quiet confidence. Every argument the lawyer tried to throw, Marcus anticipated, dismantling it piece by piece, his voice steady, sharp, undeniable. The courtroom watched, stunned, as a once dismissive lawyer stumbled over his own words, realizing too late he had underestimated the nephew of the very judge he had once mocked. When the verdict came, justice was clear. The case won. The lawyer humiliated. The underdog celebrated. Marcus didn't gloat. He walked out with the same calm strength that had carried him here, leaving a lesson echoing in the silent courtroom. Underestimate the quiet, overlook the patient, and you risk losing everything to the very person you thought powerless. Strength doesn't always roar. It often rises in silence until it can no longer be ignored. Weeks later, Marcus walked past the lawyer in the firm's hallway, and this time the sneer was gone, replaced by a forced, quiet respect. He had earned every nod, every assignment, every opportunity. Not because of connections, but because skill, patience, and resilience cannot be ignored forever. The lawyer who once called him unqualified now learned the hardest lesson. Arrogance blinds, underestimation destroys. Marcus's rise wasn't just personal. It was proof that true strength lies in perseverance, that the overlooked can become unstoppable, and that respect is earned, not demanded. The courtroom, the firm, the whispers, they all told the same story now. Never mistake quiet determination for weakness, because one day the world will see, and justice will always find its way. Months later, the firm held its annual awards, and Marcus's name was announced for Rising Attorney of the Year. The lawyer sat frozen, realizing the underdog he had mocked was now the one everyone admired. Colleagues whispered. The judge's influence quietly recognized, and Marcus stepped up to accept the award with calm dignity. He didn't need to remind anyone of the courtroom victory, the humiliation he'd endured, or the lawyer's arrogance. His success spoke louder than words. The lesson was clear to all. Power is temporary. Patience is enduring, and those who underestimate others often create their own downfall. Marcus's journey wasn't just about winning a case. It was about showing the world that respect, skill, and resilience always demand their day. Justice had been served, and it had come with poetic, undeniable truth. After the awards, Marcus returned to his office, not to celebrate, but to reflect. Every snide comment, every dismissive glance, every word that once cut him down had fueled his determination. The lawyer who had mocked him still lingered in the hallways, now quiet, forced to witness the rise he had tried to crush. Marcus realized the true victory wasn't the title, the recognition, or the courtroom wins. It was proving that patience, skill, and quiet resilience could turn even the harshest disrespect into unstoppable momentum. He leaned back, eyes steady, knowing this was only the beginning. Life had delivered its lesson. Those who belittle others plant the seeds of their own downfall, and those who endure, sharpened by doubt and dismissal, rise higher than anyone ever expected. Marcus had become the living proof. Word of Marcus's success spread beyond the firm. Clients who once ignored him now sought his advice. Colleagues who had doubted him now deferred to his judgment. The lawyer, once loud and arrogant, was reduced to silence in every meeting. His every attempt to regain footing met with calm competence. Marcus didn't celebrate his dominance. He moved quietly, letting results speak, letting patience and skill make the statement. And everywhere he went, one lesson followed him like a shadow. Those who underestimate others often set the stage for their own defeat. Marcus had not just claimed respect. He had rewritten the rules of the game, proving that true power isn't taken through noise or arrogance, but earned through resilience, intelligence, and an unwavering belief in oneself. The lawyer finally confronted Marcus one last time, bitterness still in his voice, pride battered but not fully broken. "You think this changes everything?" he spat, but Marcus only looked him in the eye, calm, unshaken. Everything had already changed. The courtroom victories, the promotions, the respect earned. None of it was luck. Every insult, every doubt, every dismissal had fueled Marcus's rise. The lawyer realized too late that underestimating someone with quiet determination was the gravest mistake he could make. Marcus walked away, not with anger, not with gloating, but with the quiet power of someone who had endured, learned, and triumphed. And the lesson was clear to all who witnessed it. Patience and perseverance are stronger than arrogance, and those who belittle others often create their own downfall. The day Marcus finally led his first major trial alone, the courtroom was packed, the tension electric. The lawyer who once mocked him watched from the sidelines, powerless, his arrogance shattered. Marcus's arguments were flawless, every point precise, every strategy sharp, and the judge, his uncle, watched with quiet pride. When the verdict came, it wasn't just a win in the case, it was a statement. The underdog had risen, the dismissed had triumphed, and justice had its day. Marcus didn't need applause. His calm, unshakable presence said it all. And the lesson lingered in the air, unforgettable. Underestimate the patient, the resilient and the quiet, and you risk being left behind. Strength isn't loud. It's steady, relentless, and ultimately unstoppable. Marcus had proven it, and the world had no choice but to see. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories that matter. And let's keep the conversation going.